so the next step is to sew all of our little pieces together. And I'm gonna start with the ears. So I wanna sew my inner ear to my outer ear, just like this. And I like to have the wrong side on the outside of the ear. I'm gonna snip off that circle ring, that magic circle tail. Okay, and you're gonna just sew the inner ear to the outer ear. And also I like to sew through the top like this, so that my stitches don't show at the back. So you wanna just grab some of those front loops. Whoops, can't see it with my camera like that. Okay, so you're gonna grab some, with the needle, you're gonna grab some of those front loops like that to just sew through your inner ear. All right, so I will let you sew the two ears. You're gonna do the inners to the outers, just like that. And I will see you in a minute. I have my two ears done. And now we can sew the little eyes. So you want to do the same thing. You want to do the little black part onto the beige part. So the inner on the outer. Okay, go ahead and sew those on the same way. Actually, if you wanted to, you can sew through and through, because the back side of the eye won't show. So you can see, as you can see, so there won't be like a back part of the ear. So if you want to sew through and through, that's fine. All right, I will see you when that's done. I got my little eyes done here. And now we can sew all of our parts onto the head. Okay, so I'm gonna fold my head in half just like this. You can see it's flat, just so I can see where I want my parts to go. Okay, so I'm gonna put the mouth down first, and I also grabbed some pins, and I'm going to pin the little parts on just so I have a better idea of where I need to sew. So there's the mouth. And one eye. I'm gonna move that eye over a little bit. See, that's the perfect example of why to pin first rather than just sew. You can see what you wanna do with these parts a little bit better. And that's looking pretty good, except I want to move this eye over a little more. Okay. I can pin this eye now. Okay. And then see the little ears I put opposite of the eyes, just like this. So I'm gonna do the eyes and the mouth first. And you want to make sure and sew them so they're close enough together so they fill in the space. You don't want like two eyes and then the mouth separated by this brown. You want them all to meld into each other. So go ahead and sew. Let's see. I start from like here and I sew around like this, and then I sew through like this. So I go from this way all the way around, and then I sew up through. So I'm gonna do that, and I will see you in just a minute. So now that we have the face sewn on, we can go ahead and start sewing on the ears. So I'm gonna put the ears right across from the eyes, just like this. And when I sew on the eyes, or the ears, sorry about that, the ears, I sew just like this. And just along like this. Then you're gonna go through this side like to the back. And you're gonna do the same thing on the back so that they stand out like this. Okay, go ahead and do that and do it to the other side as well. And then we can start stuffing the little head on the monkey. So you can see here, I got the little ears on, and it's coming along quite well. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how I did a little accents. I did these little eyelashes on the eyes and the little mouth, and I also did 2 little nostrils. So for the little black eyelashes and the nostrils, I actually used this black cotton thread kind of yarn. And I already put my yarn needle with some. And I just wanted to show you really quick. I just pretty much embroidered the little lashes on just like this. Okay, so I went in like this, and then I went back to where I started at for 1 lash, and then I just went at an angle and inserted the thread again. Okay, and then I'm just going to insert it again so I can tie it off at the back or inside the little head. Okay, and actually I'm not going to tie it off right away. I'm going to skip over to the other eye, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a little angle here, and you can see how it's going to look best on your particular monkey. Mine I'm just going to do just like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's what makes the crochet great, right? The little defaults make it so personal for the little toys like this. Okay, so I'm just tying it off. I'm going to actually, let's go ahead and make the nostrils. So don't cut that yet. And for the nostrils, all I did was pretty much, I just kind of eyeballed it and inserted my needle, and then I made, let's see, 1 little nostril, and I'm going to skip over and start the other one as I'm finishing off this one. Okay, and then I just put this like that. And those came out a little bit bigger than in the other one, but that's okay. It still looks really cute. And now I'm going to just finish off here. Okay, and snip your yarn. Okay, now for this mouthpiece, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. I think it looks cute without it as well. But if you do want to do it, this is how I did it. I grabbed some pink yarn, and it's just a short piece actually, not the whole skein. And I inserted my hook into these spaces like this. I grabbed a loop of yarn and I pulled up a loop. And then basically I grabbed the working yarn and pulled up a loop. And then I'm basically crocheting through each of these little loops. I'm just slip stitching, okay? So there's 1 little slip stitch, and you can insert it again, grab some more, sew the piece like that, and then grab the yarn, and it's a little tough, but then you just pull it through and through, and you work all the way into these little spaces, just like that. And this, okay, and I'm just gonna do 1 more. If it'll let me here. It is a little bit tough. You might want to grab a smaller crochet hook so that it fits through the little spaces better. It's not going to affect the work at all if it's you grab a smaller hook. Okay, and then pull through and through with the yarn. And then what I'm just going to do is grab my yarn needle and just sew in these ends. So I'll see you in a minute to start this handle piece. Now what we can do is we can grab one of the little rattles and you're going to grab that extra piece of fabric and some stuffing. And now you're going to line the head and stuff it. So you're just gonna take your fabric here, and it's actually much too big of a piece, which I might just cut down right now. Okay, and it's just a square or rectangle as you see. And I'm just going to grab the center of it, like a little tent, and I'm just gonna stuff it inside of the head. And you can actually take that rattle. Actually, we're gonna take some stuffing first. And you can put it down inside of the head, just like that. And at this point, you want to make sure that it's as smooth as possible. You can just put a little more in. And with this one, I went a little on the light side. I didn't put as much stuffing in. I kind of want it baby friendly, where it's really light and easy for them to play with. So I didn't stuff it a whole lot. It's actually a little bit soft still, as you can see. Okay, now I'm taking the rattle, and you just stuff it in there. It doesn't really matter how it goes in. They are very versatile, like that. Okay, and then you're gonna grab some more stuffing and just stuff around it. Okay, and then these extra pieces of fabric, I just stuff in there as well. I just kind of fold it and work with it a little bit. And it just goes right well, just like that. Okay, so you can just play with your work a little bit, just so it kind of does what it's supposed to do. Okay, and now we can start the handle. Okay, so you're gonna want to grab your H hook again and the brown that you were working with. And with mine, I'm just going to cut the tail on that a little bit and go ahead and tie it back on again. Okay? All right, so I'm going to take off this little stitch marker so I can start my work again. Inserting my H hook. And you should have, let's see, I think there are 12 single crochet. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yes, so we have 12. What we want to do is we want to have 6 on each side. So you want to find the center of your little monkey, which I'm going to crochet one more to center. So I'm going to do that. Okay, and then I'm going to tuck that tail in. You're going to chain 1. Now you're going to count 6 forward. So 6 single crochet, 2, 4, 6. And into the 7th one, you are going to slip stitch. So you're going to slip stitch into this one right here. Okay? So slip stitching, like so. And then you're going to chain 1. And we are going to single crochet into each stitch all the way around here. Okay, so it's a little tricky at the beginning, but you get the hang of it. And you should have, let's see, we should have 7 stitches. So 2, 4, 5, 6, and then that chain 1, we're gonna loop right through it just like this. And we're gonna make that into a stitch as well. So there's that. Okay, and what you're going to do is just keep going around, crocheting all the way around. And as you go, it's gonna create this little tube. Okay, and you want to make sure and go ahead and stuff it as you go, because it's very, very hard to stuff it once you're all done. It's just a pain, such a pain. So go ahead and you are going to crochet in your dark brown color for about 1.25 inches. And then you're going to change over to the lighter color, and then we're going to do the darker color again, and then keep going like that. So go ahead and, like I said, crochet for about 1.25 inches, and I will see you in just a minute. I have crocheted for about 1.25 inches, as you can see, and I like to start my new color at the back. There, if you have a better way of joining the next color, please go ahead and use that method. But for now, this is how I do it. This is the lighter color I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna crochet it for about 2 rows. And I just insert my hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop of the color that I'm working with. Then I'm going to grab the light color, and I don't put a knot in it or anything. I just loop it over just like this and draw it through the 2 loops on my hook. Then I'm going to take the dark brown color, and I'm just going to pull it taut a little bit, and then I'm going to work into the next stitch, and I'm going to work over that tail. So using the new color, I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch. And I'm going to pull that tail a little bit too, just so it's working through. Okay, and we're going to use this color for 2 rows, and then we can switch back to our brown. I have finished 2 rows in the buff color, and now I'm ready to switch back to the dark brown, which I didn't cut, I just worked with it towards the back. So it just like that, okay? So I'm just gonna switch back to the dark brown just by looping through. And now you're going to do the dark brown for 3 rows. So I just finished 3 rows of the dark brown, and now I'm gonna switch back to the buff again. And we're gonna do the buff for 2 rows. After the 2 rows of the buff, we are going to switch back to the dark brown, and you're going to do that dark brown for about 2 inches, okay? So go ahead and do the 2 rows of the buff, light brown, and then do 2 inches of the dark brown, and I will see you back again for the light brown again. Here's what it's looking like so far. It's got a very long tube on it. And I did about 2 inches of the darker brown, and now I'm gonna do 2 rows of the light brown. So you're gonna do 2 rows of light brown, you're gonna do 3 rows of the darker brown, 2 rows of the light brown, and then you're gonna do about 1.5 inches to finish off, okay? And then we can meet back up and I can show you how to sew it on. All right, see you in a minute. I have finished my little tube here, and I've filled it with the stuffing, and I've also cut off the yarn and added my yarn needle because we are now finished with the tube. The length of it on mine is about 8.5, 9 inches. It's about 9 inches long, okay? So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the end of it, and you are just going to sew it to this other hole at the top here, okay? So just sew all the way around, just like that. And I will see you in just a minute. Here are these 2 little guys right next to each other. Aren't they cute? I just love them. Okay, have a great day. Bye.